in sort of summing up and responding, is, I mean, you can already see that there's a lot of consistency in the kinds of things that are coming out, and indeed consistency with our own work at consumer focus. Okay. So I was asked to just do a quick response to previous two speakers, and as Ariana said, to draw in some of the work that we've done ourselves over the many, many years in terms of engaging with people that we call consumers, but who are equally citizens and just people in communities, certainly in this context. And as I said just then, I think the key thing that comes out of all this work, and indeed research that DCLG and others have done around this area, is the consistency about the key issues, the key prompts, the key barriers, and what needs to be done, and indeed challenges. So the things that really stand out for me, are the need to start where people are, geographically, and where they're thinking, what they think is important, and this asset-based approach is absolutely essential. Everyone has something to offer. Part of the challenge is to help them to realise what those things are, and so to get away from needs and to think about. And the idea that Phil just mentioned about helping people to do what they want to do for themselves, what they're able to do for themselves, so take the burden out of doing the boring stuff. And counsellors are in a good position to do that. Have to do it a bit carefully. And for us, one of the really important things is, and something that CLG could do, help to do, is to try and really push and stimulate this idea of driving demand, so things do come from the bottom up. So people in communities are saying, well, that's going on over there, well, they're doing this, why aren't we doing this? And helping to really raise awareness amongst communities and amongst councillors of what is going on and what they could and should be doing. And we set up a sort of prototype website that was really trying to make people aware of the number of levers that are already available to them to try and get engaged in local activities and to drive change within the local communities, which isn't live, but if anybody's interested in having a look at that, we're very happy to share. We're talking to Citizens Advice about them maybe developing it and making it available through their advice line, but it's not a unique relationship that we're looking for, so again, as I say, happy to share more information on that. The other sorts of things that I think are fairly consistent are about allowing time for people to get used to the ideas, to develop a co-production, a working together type approach. One of the community development people in Surrey told us that in her experience it takes between 2 and 5 years to actually see real difference in communities, to be able to see the results of activity, to make sure that it's sustainable and people can look back at their own achievements. So time's quite important. We talked about assets. Transparency and clarity about exactly what's going on is really important, as both Phil and Alison were saying. In our research and hands-up work, which was really about the localism agenda and how people felt about being asked to take on running assets or taking over services, they were very, very cautious about exactly what did this mean for me. You know, will I be liable for anything? What if it goes wrong? I'm not an accountant. I don't know how to run services. So again, if councils or voluntary bodies, people with those kinds of skills and experience can work in partnership with people, it's much more likely to succeed. And certainly developing the concept and having the co-design approach from right at the beginning is absolutely essential. The idea of some local initiatives have used the idea of having charters that, again, the people in communities and people who might be providing a leadership role have developed together, but it's a bit of that rights and responsibilities agreement. Has to be multidimensional because one model, one size don't fit all, which we know. There are conflicts and contradictions and differences within all of this. So there are pros and cons about having counsellors in the lead, because some people really do not want to work with counsellors. There are a lot of barriers to break down. The local community leaders, yeah, that's great, you start with local community leaders, but for every local community group that's already got a base and is a fantastic jumping off point, there'll be people who feel that group might be a bit elitist, or it's not for people like me, or it's for someone else. So again, you do need a multi-dimensional approach to make sure you're reaching out, and the idea of having perhaps hubs of activity in the community, people pick up hints and copy that kind of thing is very appealing in that sense. Communities have to be self-defined. They're not necessarily geographical, they're based around interests, from clubs. So again, DCLG finding ways to tap into that. If you boiled it down to 3 points, it would be these ones. So personal connections, individuals have to see the value of doing this kind of thing for them, for their families, for the community. The social connections and those networks are absolutely essential. They all have to be built in. It's about being introduced to the activities, not feeling as though you're doing it on your own, having support, just feeling safe that it's something you can do. And again, meaningful objectives that people can buy into and how to deliver and then achieve them. And I just listed a few things that DCLG might like to consider. I'm not going to go through those because you've already had a couple of big challenges. But there is obviously a lot of range of things that DCLG could do. One of the big challenges is for a big government department working at national level, where is the best place to connect when those results you want to see at local level, because it's not easy for you and your staff to connect at that level. So what are the ways, what are the routes, and what are the levers that you can use?
Thank you very much. Very concise and very helpful. I've actually got the room booked until 4, so I'm happy to go on for as long as people want to, but obviously until 3 we've got to rush on. But we've got at least 10 to 15 minutes for questions, and probably longer if our speakers are happy to stay for a bit longer.